2, 1. Blog Talk Radio.
Don't touch me. I'll beat your brains out.
You believe in miracles? Yes! I mean, you can take a knee and try a 56-yard field goal. This is not Detroit, man. This is the Super Bowl. Let's get ready to rumble. I'm Sonny Liston. I'm Jack Dempsey. There's no one like me. I'm from Nairclaw. There's no one that can match me. My style is impetuous. My defense is impregnable. And I'm just ferocious. I want your heart. I want to eat his children. Down goes Frazier. Down goes Frazier. Down goes Frazier. But that's how it goes. California. The big game over Stanford.
I think that the NFL knows what Randy Moss has done with marijuana.
What's up,
I
Chad?
think the NFL knows what Randy Moss does with marijuana.
Oh, MMA.
Don't talk about playoffs. You kidding me? Playoffs? I just hope we can win a game. Good morning, and thank you for joining me.
Top of the morning, everybody. Those of you already on Facebook Live, the millions listening around the world on Blog Talk Radio. Good morning, everybody. Happy Memorial Day weekend. I don't necessarily know if I should say happy Memorial Day weekend, but hopefully you guys are having a good Sunday to start. MMA is already on. There's a UFC. I think it's taking place in Europe. And it's actually, the main event is actually going to be really good. I think it's in Liverpool. So that's on. So if you got nothing better to do this morning, just watch some people kick the shit out of each other. It's great. As always, good amount of stuff to get to. Obviously, for the first time since 1979, Magic Johnson and Larry Bird's first seasons in the NBA, by the way. The NBA has 2 Game 7s from the Eastern Conference and Western Conference. First time in a long time. Obviously, the Celtics and the Cavs will decide today, later on this afternoon, who's to go on to the finals. And then tomorrow, Game 7 between Houston and Golden State. So I'll get to that. Stanley Cup starts tomorrow. Trying to think. Game 7, I think, was Caps and Lightning. That was good. Vegas Golden Knights, obviously, is just crazy. It's a crazy, crazy story. I kind of want to throw a question out there to you if I have time. I'm just so intrigued, and I just don't know which is more mysterious. The Kawhi Leonard situation or the Andrew Luck situation. And I'd like to kind of get your feedback on that via the chat room, or if you wanted to call in, 213-943-3423. First off, though, like I say, it's Memorial Day weekend. I'm a vet. I don't know if you can see the shirt or not, but MVP stands for Merging Vets and Players. It's a group that I'm a part of, and I've been a part of now for about 2 months, and I'm extremely proud to be a part of it. Jay Glazer, who is an NFL insider for Fox, is one of the founders, along with Nate Boyer, who is also not only a former professional football player, but also a former Army Green Beret. And those two founded MVP, and basically it's an opportunity to bring together former professional athletes along with former vets, military vets. We all get together, every Thursday, soon to be every Tuesday. We work out, and then afterwards we, kind of have a powwow and a sit down and a chat. And it's an opportunity for those, especially coming back from overseas and doing tours, seeing their brothers and sisters, lost, giving them a platform in which to let out emotion and, to talk about certain things that they don't feel comfortable talking with to just regular civilians. And so, again, I'm just so proud to be a part of it. I went last night to the Dodgers game with some of these guys. One of the guys from our group was honored at the Dodger game. The Dodgers are cool enough to do a military hero of the game, and last night our buddy Sergio was that guy. It's a cool thing. They acknowledge him, and it's just just a cool situation. So that was last night. By the way, I haven't had a hot dog in I don't know how long. But the tickets were free. We were sitting in a section where it was free food in the right field deck. Great seats, by the way. And so I actually had 2 Dodger dogs. It was kind of those win in Rome type of deal. I was like, whatever, I'm going to have, a hot dog. But I haven't had one in, honestly, 20 plus years. Just because way back in the day, I saw how they were made. And I just, I couldn't do it, and I know I eat a lot of shit, but hot dogs are terrible, but I had 2 of them last night, along with just a bunch of other stuff, but it was a really, really good time. And tomorrow we're doing a march, part of Memorial Day, start off in Venice, at the Santa Monica Pier, and then cruise on. I think it's like a 15-mile march or something like that we're doing tomorrow. I haven't done one of those in a while. Got to put on some good shoes. But obviously the cause is right and just. So I'm proud, obviously. I'm a proud vet. And, I'm very fortunate in the fact that I didn't have to go overseas and, go through what a lot of my friends had to and lose a lot of people and be in that situation. It's real, I posted this a little while ago. It's been 15 years since the war has been going on. And to many Americans, it's in the background. Nobody thinks about it. Nobody knows that it's even really going on anymore. They're much obviously too concerned with the Kardashians and everything. And, life is life. That's fine. But it's just crazy because when you put yourself in the shoes of someone else and imagine like seeing your friends just go down, like these are real bullets. This is life and death. This is like the real deal. And to see your buddies, lost, it's got to be really tough. And so it's nice being a part of this group so they can open up and talk about these type of deals. 20 people kill themselves every day, vets. And so this is something that we're obviously trying to curb. And by opening up a forum where these people can let emotions go freely, hopefully that will, curb some of the unfortunate suicides that's going on. So anyway, with that said, I know this is a sports show, and I'll, get to it, but I wanted to mention that. I will go in real quick to the whole national anthem. NFL, obviously, for the past couple years, has dealt with kneeling. Christina, good morning, beautiful. During the national anthem. Keep in mind, it wasn't until 2009 that the anthem was even played on TV. The military paid the NFL quite a bit of money to have that played on TV. And obviously, when money is, talks, people listen. The NFL listened. They put it part of the programming and blah, blah, blah. It wasn't even aired before 2009. This is the problem with society in the sense that when it's put in front of your face, all of a sudden you have an opinion about it and you have, you care, good or bad. And so now, the last couple of years, there's been kneeling that has been taking place, by Colin Kaepernick and then, a bunch of followers to him. And so bottom line, the NFL was losing money and they needed to, and losing fan base because of it. And so basically the NFL needed to do something. And so what they did is they said everybody should stand during the anthem. If you don't want to stand during the anthem, you can stay in the locker room. Obviously, this is an ongoing thing. This isn't going away. Is it a compromise? Sure. Obviously now the people who stay in the locker room are going to be questioned and blah, 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 and it's going to be a thing. It's annoying, quite honestly. But last night at the Dodger game, the anthem starts to play. And, I'm a proud vet. And people don't understand what the anthem means. And granted, I understand black people, especially with police brutality, it's not, a good situation to say, to put it lightly. But I do believe there's a time and a place. The national anthem, especially on a weekend like Memorial Day, is such a deep feel for us vets. And I realize Nate Boyer, who I spoke of earlier, who co-founded MVP, sat down with Colin Kaepernick, penned a letter to him, had an agreement, not an agreement, but an understanding, on both sides. But again, like I said earlier, Americans, for the most part, they don't understand, nor do they even give a shit that guys are losing their lives so that they can have freedom of speech and to kneel during an anthem. To each their own. Go for it. But at the same time, those who do, you don't understand what it means. America's not perfect. I know everybody just, it's America, and that's what I've heard. It's like, well, America, the best place on earth. It should be perfect. No place on earth is perfect. And people are always going to be bigoted. People are going to be racist. And so you can't sit there. How do I say this? To me, it's such disrespect. There's a time and a place for certain things. And as a professional athlete, you have an opportunity to, have attention drawn to you in other ways than kneeling during the national anthem. There's so many places that are worse than America. This is such a great place to succeed if you have the will and the want to do so. Not everybody has the same opportunity growing up. Bad parenting, status levels, whatever the case is. But to sit and just... People don't understand. Again, they don't understand what it's about. People die. So you have the opportunity to kneel and bitch like a pussy that, it's not fair. You know what, man? I'm sorry, but black people, you have it a lot better now than you did 50 years ago. Go to other countries and see how bad people have it. I'm tired. I would switch places, and this is no joke. I'd switch places with every professional black athlete there is. So you got to put up with some shit. You make millions of dollars and you're bitching. I'm sorry. I can't get past that. I can't. And I know people are, well, just because I'm a millionaire doesn't mean I can't protest and whatnot. True. That's true. But you're missing the point. To me, you're missing the point. Is that you're spoiled. You're so spoiled, you're in a position to bitch when you're a billion or a millionaire. Think about it. It doesn't, there's a time and a place is all I'm saying. And when I stood last night for the anthem, had my hand on my chest, there's a part of me that just is so proud and on top of it, disgusted that somebody can just say, oh, shit on it. Shouldn't it? You don't have... Go other places. You think it's bad here? Go to Haiti. Go to El Salvador. Go, you know, I mean... And granted, yeah, this is America. It's not perfect. Things take time to change. And to sit there and just be unrealistic. This isn't 50, 60 years ago. Black people are... Granted, it's... With the police, it's shit. It's unfortunate. You know, I mean, there's bad people. There's just bad police officers. I'm sorry. Not my fault. You know, it's not my fault. But that's just people in general. The other side to it is, it's just like, it's not as bad. It's just not as bad. You know, I'm going to get to Kendrick Lamar here in a bit because it's a two-sided problem. And people only believe what's told to them through the media. And I'm just, F it, I'm just going to hit on it now, and then I'll get to the sports aspect. So Kendrick Lamar, and I'm tying this in together because, granted, police brutality is bad, you know, and it's obvious, and it sucks, you know, especially obviously for black people to have to go through it. But like I said about a month ago when I had a guy on here, a black gentleman, we were talking about racism for about 45 minutes, going back and forth. It's a two-way street. And racism isn't a two-way street because by definition, the definition of racism is for one race to keep another race down. I can see white people trying to do that and be racist towards black people. Black people, though, are just hateful towards white people. They're not racist because, you know, unfortunately, they're not in a power position to keep white people down, but they hate white people. And that's just factual. And there's a reason why it's called, you know, black people who act white are called Uncle Toms, or black people who date white people are looked upon badly. If you're not ghetto enough in the hood, you know, it's just frowned upon. And I understand because of what you have been through in the past. There's animosity towards white people. I get it. But at a concert the other night, Kendrick Lamar concert, he brings on stage a white girl. And they start singing a song, and the song has, you know, like 100 times they say the N-word in it. And this girl's singing along. She's at a concert. She's singing along to a song that was written by Kendrick Lamar. Kendrick Lamar stops the show. Wait. Stop. You can't say the N-word. He tells this white girl that. And basically she says, am I not good enough for you? And he says, no, you just can't say that. Well, you know, keep in mind, this is the thing that nobody says. Everybody, you know, People magazine said, oh, he schooled this girl. No, he baited this girl. He had every opportunity to bring a black girl up onto the stage and go for it. Could have sang the song. I guarantee you every black person in the crowd saw a white girl go on stage and was pissed. Guarantee you. And then he slams her for saying the N-word. And so all of a sudden, all the media outlets say, oh, how dare she? They blame the girl. And everybody obviously jumps on board. Think of the dynamic involved. A girl pays tickets, and a lot of money, obviously, if she's close enough up to get pulled out of the crowd. So she's got to be probably in the first 5 rows or something. Pays good money to go and see Kendrick Lamar. Big fan, obviously. She's there. She's having a great time. He calls her out of the crowd to come up on stage. This girl's probably out of her mind, like excited, right? Holy shit. I'm at a Kendrick Lamar concert. He's bringing me up. This is crazy, blah, blah, blah. She's up on stage. They start singing. She's into it. And all of a sudden, he cuts her off and embarrasses her and humiliates her in front of a pro-black crowd. And everybody turns on her because she's a little white girl up on stage saying the N-word. And he baits her to make an example out of her. Think about that. How shitty of a human being do you have to be to do that? To purposefully take a white girl out, bait her, and then slam her. This is a girl who paid money to go and see you. She is a fan of you. And you shit on her and treat her like that. You piece of shit. This is the problem. This is why race relations in America aren't ever going to be better. Because there's white people who are racist and there's black people who hate white people. And that is a perfect example that Kendrick Lamar made an example out of this white girl when he had every opportunity, every choice to pick a black girl, or not pick anybody at all, but to have a black girl come up, sing along, have a great time. But he goes out of his way to do this and make an example. This is what I'm getting at. There's never going to be good between black and white if these type of things happen. I'm telling you, I'm not proud of what white people did to black people, and I understand the animosity that black people now have towards white people, but because of this dynamic, it is never going to be good. It's just not. It's just not. Black people feel comfortable amongst other black people because that's who they trust. It's fine. Think about this. I had a foreign exchange student when I was in 8th grade. Kike came from Madrid, Spain. Who did he hang out with when he was here? Other foreign exchange students. Why? Because they have shit in common. They understand each other. Everybody else looked at them differently. That's how black people feel in America. It's understandable. They trust each other. They have their own culture amongst each other. White people, for the most part, don't understand that culture or respect it, or want it in this fabric. And so there's a revolt by black people. There's these type of things that happen by Kendrick Lamar, shitting on fans of yours, but he doesn't give a shit, obviously. It's a very slippery slope. But that is the reason why, oh God, it's just so deep. It's so deep. It's insane. I could talk about it for a long time. I'd love to talk about it with like a group of people and just talk about it, because there's certain things that need to be said. This whole handling of Kendrick Lamar's concert by the mainstream media, shitting on this white girl and not like making everybody look through her eyes and just saying, holy cow, she gets on stage, she starts saying, the N-word. It's not fair. And that is all the people see, though. It's like, yeah, holy cow, this, how dare she? How dare... You gotta, think of other people's perspective. You have to see it through a different lens instead of just what you're told, because it's just not everything is what it seems. How about these Game 7s? How about these Game 7s? Sports. There's certain things, in my opinion, I love sports so much, but at the same time, there's other things that take a back seat, and and these things need to be talked about, just accept it. Be like, you know what? Palestinians and the Jews, probably not a good chance they're ever going to get along. Probably not. Blacks and whites, I just don't see it. I don't. I just don't. I'm cool with most everybody I come in contact with. I have. I meet black people every day. I'm cool with them. They don't trust me. That's fine. I look like a cop. I get it. But there's just this obvious, thing that goes on that nobody wants to just address. And everybody's scared to talk about it. And I think we should. I think it should be talked about. Like the differences, why we don't like each other, or some don't like them, some don't like us. It just needs to be talked about. So anyway, I'll give you the last 5 minutes of sports. How about that? Like I said, there's 2 Game 7s going on. Stanley Cup starts tomorrow, which should be really cool. Let's not forget that Alex Ovechkin is one of the best hockey players to ever play, but he's never even made it to the conference finals. Now he's in the Stanley Cup, playing against probably the most unbelievable. I mean, it's happening, so it's believable, but far-fetched situation in sports possibly ever, with the Vegas Golden Knights, an expansion team in their first season, a team full of misfits, cast-offs from other teams, and they are in the Stanley Cup Finals. It's impressive. Marc-Andre Fleury is the goaltender, though, and he has been in 3 Stanley Cups. He's very, very good. I'm excited. I'm really excited. As for basketball, 2 Game 7s. Like I mentioned earlier, Cleveland at Boston today. I'm shocked that Boston is doing what they're doing without Kyrie, without Gordon Hayward, and they're 1 game away from the finals. LeBron is a beast, and he does what LeBron does. In Game 7s, I think he averages like 37 points or something like that. So LeBron is going to do LeBron stuff tonight. The only problem is Kevin Love is definitely out. He's in concussion protocol. I just don't see how Cleveland wins this game without another 1 or 2 people having huge games. The cast around LeBron for this team is eerily similar to 2007 when they went and got swept by the Spurs, but LeBron had nobody. It was literally LeBron and nobody. And now with Kevin Love gone, you could kind of make the argument that it's him and nobody again. And keep in mind, the biggest thing that people forget is there was a midseason trade that sent Isaiah Thomas away after only being there for like 16 games, brought in Larry Nance and Jordan Clarkson and just a whole slew of fresh faces. And because LeBron is so great, he's back 1 game away from being in the finals. I just don't know if they can do it. Boston is undefeated at home in the playoffs. It's a real toss-up for me. As far as the other one, Houston, Golden State. With or without Chris Paul last night, I don't necessarily know if they would have beat Golden State in Golden State. I think there was no doubt he was going to go back to Houston for a Game 7. With Chris Paul possibly missing Game 7, I just don't know. I just don't know if they're... James Harden's awesome. And Eric Gordon, if he steps up and has a monster game, obviously the home court advantage helps. Capella could have a great defensive game. But, like I've said before, when Golden State, it just feels like both Cleveland and Golden State, there's times throughout this postseason that they looked bored. They're like, it's been 3 straight years that those two have met. And the attrition of just keeping that level, it feels like both of them are, whatever. Boston is young, tenacious, hungry. They want it. Houston's never been there before. They want it. And the other 2 teams are better, and they're like, But you saw last night, when Golden State wants to kick it in, they're ridiculous. I mean, Klay Thompson all of a sudden catches fire. The guy's 9 of 13 from 3. Steph catches fire. Both of those two had a crazy third quarter. Golden State in the third quarter, by the way, is ridiculous. I don't know what Steve Kerr does at halftime. He's the best halftime adjustment guy ever. But once they come out for that second half, it's lights out, and they're insane. They obviously took control, and we'll see tomorrow night. But without Chris Paul, or with a limited Chris Paul, I don't know. If Chris Paul was healthy, I would give it to Houston. I really would. But I have a feeling Golden State. I have a feeling it's going to be Golden State and Cleveland again for the 4th goddamn year in a row. And I'm not happy about it, obviously. But whatever, we'll see. and MMA, great fight here in
10
like
seconds.
an hour. 10 seconds, Blog Talk Radio. I love you guys. Have a great Sunday fun day and a good Memorial Day weekend. I'm out with you guys, Facebook Live. Thanks for joining in. Thanks for listening to me bitch and you know, talk about the anthem and the kneeling and the race relations and all that type of stuff. Needs to be talked about. Joey, top of the morning, by the way. Sorry about your Dodgers last night. That was a good game, though. That was actually a really good game. But I will see you tomorrow morning. And excited to see all my buddies tomorrow morning. So anyway, I love you guys. Have a great Sunday fun day. A good Memorial Day weekend. Remember those who have given the ultimate price for us being able to do what we do in this country. A lot of us, like I say, are so far removed from what goes on in war and the military. There's a disconnect, but it's important to understand what this weekend is about, and why we celebrate it the way we do, and celebrate the fallen so that we can do what we do here. So anyway, have a great Sunday, and I will see you next week. Love you guys. Drive fast, take chances. I'm out.